Peter 1967A, the Gordon Ramsay of pharmacy. Peter, thank you for your comment. I'm a massive fan of Gordon Ramsay actually. I think it's because of the white coat maybe. That's why he said it. But maybe I'm not as angry as him. I don't think I'm as angry. I'm a lot nicer than Gordon Ramsay. Speaking of Gordon Ramsay, if anyone hasn't seen it, the hot ones episode, the hot wings that are really spicy, watch the one with Gordon Ramsay in it. It is hilarious. You won't be disappointed, trust me. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Responding to Your Comments. What are we waiting for? Let's dive in. LJ Oyo, can dandruff cause hair fall? LJ, thank you for your comment. This is actually a really popular question. So, hair growth from a dandruff irritated scalp can be weakened because the cuticle, so the outer surface, isn't protecting the hair as much, so it's more likely to get damaged and break off. So what I would advise everyone with dandruff, even though it's really, really difficult, I understand, is not to itch. If you itch, it's going to break more hairs, there's going to be more hair falling out, and you're going to get really, really worried. So that's my top tip. And then also try and treat the dandruff irritated scalp. I made a video on this a couple of months ago. I think it's had about 400, 500,000 views. I'll leave a link here for you. Many people have found it helpful. So watch it, follow my tips, and hopefully it will help. Brandon Nano, my doctor threw me out because my blood pressure was too high for him. Said come back when it's lowered. Brandon, thanks for your comment. I hope your blood pressure situation is fixed now. How high was it? How high was it that this doctor said to leave? Did they do many tests? Did they do many blood pressure tests? Did they do a 24-hour test on you? Maybe it was high because of white coat syndrome. You know, when a healthcare professional does your blood pressure, sometimes it is rather elevated compared to when you do it at home, when you're more relaxed and more comfortable. So, you've kind of got two options. Get a new doctor, or go back to your doctor and say, I'm not leaving until you fix my blood pressure. Laura Island, great video, but what about talking to your nurse? Often it's nurses in primary care starting metformin. Laura, thank you for your comment. I actually thought of this exact point that you said once we edited this video. This was on a metformin video that we made a while ago. And I thought to myself, why didn't I mention nurses more? You know, nurses are the backbone and front line of the NHS. And actually, more often than not, for diabetes stuff, you will see a diabetes nurse specialist. They're like the backbone of diabetes treatment in the UK. Nurses have various different helpful and needed roles, and I truly appreciate the work that they do. I work with many different nurses every day. I work with advanced nurse practitioners, like Joe, for instance, in the birth control video. I work with specialist nurses, many different nurses, and their knowledge is so useful. They're always so helpful. So if any nurses are watching, thank you for all your hard work. Cockney John, having to use 2 sprays just to prime an inhaler simply reduces the overall yield of the devices. That means you have to obtain or pay for another inhaler device after wasting some 20% of the actual medication within the cylinder. Ignore the advice in this video, shake well, make sure that the inhaler device is clean and clear, and then utilize. Cockney John, thank you for your comment. This is a really good comment actually, and you've actually made me aware of something that I didn't actually think of before. So the fact is 90% of people don't use their inhalers right, whether their technique is wrong or they're not priming your inhaler. If you're not doing these things right, you're not going to get the right amount of medicine to your lungs, and it'll give you worse off disease control, and you might actually have to visit hospital services or your doctors more often because your asthma isn't controlled well. So when you prime your inhaler, the chambers are going to get filled properly, so when you use it, you're going to get the right amount of medicine into your lungs. Now, here's a bit to answer your question. So you only actually need to prime your inhaler the first time you use it when it's brand new, or if you haven't used it for a while. And what I mean by a while is it will say in your information leaflet how long the while is that you need to prime it again. But here's the secret bit that not a lot of people know about. So when you get an inhaler, it will say, for instance, it has 200 doses in it, it has 100 doses in it, it has 120 doses. So that means it has 120 puffs, 200 puffs inside it. But the manufacturers all add a few extra puffs in there, so you get that for free, I guess. And that is for priming. It's not actually on the counter thing, so when you press it, it won't actually move for a few goes. I don't know if you've ever noticed this, when you use an inhaler, it will say like 200, but you have to use it a few times for it to go to 199, 198, and down, down, down. So they are for priming. So you're not actually wasting anything, and you're not wasting your money technically. Amanath BK, blood pressure and diabetes are both fake diseases created by corporates for their income. Amanath, thank you for your comment. I myself, and probably the rest of the healthcare community will disagree with you on this. You know, it's been proven, high blood pressure damages blood vessels, it increases your risk of heart attacks, strokes, heart disease, kidney disease. and many more. And even if you reduce your blood pressure to a normal level, there's a 30% reduced chance of you getting a heart attack or a stroke. And it's the same with diabetes. You know, if you have uncontrolled diabetes, you're at higher risk of blindness, you're at higher risk of kidney disease, heart attacks, strokes, and loads more. The evidence is there. There's years and years of evidence that show this. That's why we control these diseases. So what I will do is I'll leave you some links in the description below to some useful articles about blood pressure or high blood pressure and diabetes when it's uncontrolled, and maybe some research articles as well, so you can check them out. And that's the end of this week's Responding to Your Comments episode. I'm really loving the interaction that we've got going on YouTube, and if I didn't get back to your comment, then leave another comment and I'll try my best to get back to you in next week's episode. Please don't forget to subscribe, and click that bell button too, because it tells YouTube that you're enjoying my content and you want to see more. See you next week. Hey guys, thanks for watching this week's video. Make sure to click that like, follow, or subscribe button now to stay up to date with new weekly videos.